Credo Voices, the podcast where we bring you inspiring stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I'm your host, Awele Okibo, the CEO of Credo Advisory.
Armenia's rugged landscapes have been home to resilient communities bound by vibrant culture, traditions, and warm hospitality for centuries. Today, this historic land also serves as a refuge for those fleeing crises. According to the UN Refugee Agency, as of December 2023, Armenia hosts over 150,000 forcibly displaced persons, including refugees and asylum seekers. In this episode of Credo Voices, we meet Hayasa Tahmazyan, an international development practitioner dedicated to empowering Armenia's most vulnerable populations. From supporting Syrian refugees to founding Armenia Corps, Hayasa mobilizes local capacities to foster sustainable development tailored to community needs. Through innovative asset mapping, Armenia Corps leverages human capital, infrastructure, and local talent to drive long-term economic growth and social impact. Advancing SDG 5, gender equality, and SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, Hayasa proves that grassroots action can lead to nationwide transformation. Join us as we explore how Armenia Corps is turning resilience into opportunity, one community at a time.
Thank you, Avela, for having me on the Credo Voices. I'm literally excited to be here. Hello, everyone. I'm Hayasa Tahmazyan from Armenia. I'm an international development practitioner with a focus on the humanitarian development nexus. So, my experience covers designing and leading knowledge to action programs that respond humanitarian needs and foster locally led development through education, civic and economic inclusion, youth development, women empowerment, and poverty reduction, especially among the displaced, conflict affected, and rural population.
Interesting. Now let's rewind. You're doing a lot, Hayasa. How did you start this journey around humanitarian development? Can you just give us a little bit of a background and context?
My journey in the humanitarian development field started with the Aleppo NGO, which is Aleppo Compatriotic Charitable Organization, known as Aleppo NGO. It was established in Armenia 2013 to protect, support, and advocate for refugees who found shelter in Armenia because of the Syrian conflict. It was a local organization, and it was established by a woman who herself was Syrian Armenian and moved to Armenia because of the Syrian conflict. So I engaged with the organization, and then I promoted as a vice president of program management, which my experience allowed me to be exposed to numerous circumstances that not only shaped my skills but also influenced my vision for how I want to see the inclusive, dynamic, responsive, and sustainable development in Armenia. So I can bring one example. The Aleppo NGO designed and launched Save a Life program, which was in 2017, which was aimed to provide one-way tickets to Syrian people with Armenian nationality who wanted to move to Armenia because of the conflict, and whose homes were whose houses were destroyed, who couldn't live there anymore. So it was a resettlement program, and it was very unique, and it was only in its kind in Armenia.
Interesting.
I had the privilege and the honor to coordinate that program and also manage the other part. Within 2 years, 468 people's lives were saved through that program. Now these people are living in Armenia and they are creating their future, their present, and the future in security. So that's one of the examples that allowed me to deep dive in the sector, which led me to get Fulbright scholarship in that field for studying international development in social science to go deeper academically.
That
Thank
is
you very much.
incredible achievement. One of many I will talk about as well, but that's really interesting. Now, how did your work with the Aleppo Compatriotic Charitable Organization, how did it lead to you starting Armenia Corps?
Yeah, that's very wonderful. When I received a Fulbright scholarship, so and when I went back to Armenia, it was the time when the timing coincided with the aftermath of 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh conflict and the post-COVID era. So I was part of the Aleppo NGO as a board member. Still, I also wanted to do something more due to the situation, and all my ideas was revolving around matters that went beyond mere problem solving. I aspired to design an initiative that would bridge people and foster unity,
Yeah.
enabling them to collaborate towards the development of the country, because that time, so it's aftermath of war, aftermath of the
Yes. COVID.
COVID. Yeah, the
Yes.
people needs to come together
Yes.
to do something.
Yeah, so Hayasa, let's add some color to it. So as you
Yeah,
mentioned, this is post-conflict in
yeah.
Armenia and Syria, post-COVID. So what would you observe like in these communities that led you to starting Armenia Corps? So you have a lot of young people, you have people that are skilled who are looking for work, you have a lot of people who are unskilled. Can you just paint a little bit more of a picture so our audience can have a full understanding of the context that drove you to start Armenia Corps?
So the thing that I was observing, the first one, that there should have been a unity which will overcome all the challenges,
Yeah.
all the seen and unseen challenges.
Hayasa, challenges, you are talking economic, you're talking about political.
It's like the seen challenges is like a political, economic, social,
Yeah,
cultural,
yeah.
etc.
I'm doing this just for our audience who are not aware of what's been happening in Armenia, in Syria. I'd want them to just have that context because
Yeah.
I think it's really important.
So what I was observing, it was the first that we need unity, overcome and to address and overcome all the unseen and seen challenges. And when we
Yeah,
are talking about that, we are meaning like all the factual things that we have around us. That's the political challenges, economic challenges, social
yeah,
inclusion challenges, because after the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, displaced populations were forcibly coming to Armenia to settle. And when I'm talking about the unseen challenges, I mean the psychology of the society after the war and experiencing the COVID, when people need to come together in a mindful way
yes,
to move forward. So I just wanted to, so I was acknowledging that part. While time, I also acknowledging that the mobilization of local capacities should be the cornerstone where I want to do something for Armenia. And I was especially highlighting this part because I was thinking that in theory, when we in theory, it's about cultivating societal unity, when you are bringing all the wonderful capacities, the local capacities
yeah,
together. And in practice, it also empowers the local population to take charge of their development. And it was very important because it's not coming from the top down, it's going from down to top.
Armenia Corps is rewriting the narrative on community development. By focusing on local strengths rather than external aid, they empower individuals to become change makers within their communities. From non-formal education programs to income-generating initiatives for rural women, their asset-based model creates lasting impact. By harnessing local skills, resources, and collective knowledge, Armenia Corps proves that grassroots empowerment leads to meaningful and sustainable change.
So, but Hayasa, thank you for that. Trying to address and really advance, strengthen local capacity. Can we peek behind the curtains of Armenia Corps? And
Yeah,
can you tell us
yeah,
what are some of the programs that you initiate and are implementing? What immediate needs is it addressing?
yeah.
And what are the long-term impacts that you would expect it to have in Armenia?
Sure. So, I will just start for the audience and for you and for everyone, just telling what Armenia Core actually is. Armenia Core is a dynamic platform that acknowledges and mobilizes local capacities through knowledge, collective action, and local service to deliver data-driven, sustainable, and cutting-edge developments tailored to the needs of Armenia. So when I'm saying this, it's because Armenia Corps work in rural communities. So the rural communities are the target groups of Armenia. Why?
Okay.
Because we have explored the untapped potential there. So we wanted to start from there because we observed that there is a huge untapped potential there, and what we want to do is identify, mobilize, and leverage the local capacities together, so it will work. So we can address the local
Okay.
issue utilizing the local capacities.
Local capacity. So, okay, so when you say local capacity, can you give us a little bit more specifics? Are you talking
Yeah.
about, when you say local, I'm assuming, these are within in country, is it in rural communities? Is it more than urban areas? Who are the people? Are these students? Are these young professionals? Can you give
Mhm.
us a little bit more information around that,
Yeah,
please?
so currently when we are referring to the local capacities, we are referring to the villages, rural settlements capacities. And
Okay.
when we are saying capacity, we mean human resources at the capital of the village, infrastructure, network of the human resources, all the grassroots
All
organizations,
the grassroots. Okay, okay,
organizations.
okay. So for our audience, this is you go into the rural communities, villages, and you are trying to help build their capacity on a number of areas. And I think I heard you mention infrastructure. So the reason why I'm digging deep, I think it's really important because I think the work you're doing is just incredible. And I don't want to miss this. I want to really capture it. So for instance, can we use an example? You go
Yeah.
into village X, and what do you do when you go into the villages? How do you identify the people whose capacity you feel should be strengthened, and in what area?
In Armenia Core, we are prioritizing the strengths of local capacities rather than their needs. So when we are saying the capacities, human resources, infrastructure, or all the resources that the village holds, grassroots organizations, registered organizations, the network of the human resources. So what we happens, we are utilizing two different approaches while we are entering the villages. It's an asset-based community development and sustainable livelihoods approaches. For instance, in 2022 and 2013, we reached 26 villages of
Oh,
the
wow, 26.
yeah
20. Oh, wow. Okay.
26 villages of a newly consolidated community. And the first phase was about identifying the people, the human resource who would love to stay in the villages and who would like to be part of development of their community.
Okay.
So just to making sure to make clear, Armenia Corps is acting as a support mechanism. We are not leading any change. We are not like pushing people to do something. Is we are just there to identify the people
Okay.
and to bring their skills together. Even like before bringing their skills together, we are bringing them together. These
Okay.
people are starting to network and they are finding out what they want to do. Then when they are finding what to do, we are giving them like a comprehensive understanding what is development, how it works, and as a tool we are giving them asset mapping. So instead of focusing what is the needs of the villages, they are focusing on what are the strengths of the villages. So together these people from like let's say coming from 2 or 3 villages, they are identifying the strengths of their communities and they are designing programs or initiatives, anything
Okay.
that would create some improvement opportunities for the
Okay.
local population.
You mentioned asset mapping and you
Yeah.
mentioned identifying some of the opportunities. I know my audience would want to know, like, would need an example. What does asset mapping mean in the development context?
When we are referring to the asset mapping, we are giving the tools to our target group to find out what are the strengths of their community. So what are their assets of their community which could create improvement opportunities for them and for the local population, etc.
Okay.
So for instance, they are utilizing the tool, let's say if they are going to address a public health issue,
Okay.
mapping to see what kind of human resource this village has in the in addressing public health issue,
Okay.
what kind of infrastructure it has, what kind of organization.
Nice. It's becoming clearer. Okay. How many nurses? How many doctors? How
Yeah,
many healthcare facilities are in the community?
that's right. And even we are mapping the human resources, which even doesn't have the academic background, but they have been part of several experiences which are related to the public health. And we are also going deeper, understanding what kind of the networks of human resource has in that sector. Might be this person is staying in this village, but knows someone great person out of their community who is in the public health sector, for instance, right? So we can like align that network to the improvement areas of the community.
Okay, so just so I understand, you in the asset mapping, you are trying to find out what the strengths of the community are, who can do what the infrastructure looks like as far as the skills, as far as if the hospitals, research, and then when you identify it, can you walk us through the next steps?
Yeah. So when we are identifying it, the people who are engaged in that progress for the gained data, they are also understanding how to mobilize these different parts, different strengths to create something new. For
Okay.
instance,
Hmm.
there are there were 2 librarians in these different villages.
Okay.
They identified that they both are very smart people. They want to do something for their villages and they are running the libraries. And these 2 libraries in the villages, they only just for them providing like a reading materials, etc. But they also identified that they have the opportunities to do something more, like act as a non-formal education platforms for
Uh-huh.
the
See.
for the population. So they both brought together their capacities and created a curriculum which currently runs after the end of the program. And these libraries are offering more than just than just providing reading materials. For instance,
Yes.
they are running the trainings on what is financial literacy for
Oh,
the
wow.
local youth, for the
Yes,
local
yes.
audience,
I
and media literacy. They are like gaining new. They're bringing volunteers in to support them. So that's how the asset mapping is working. You are just identifying what are your strengths and what are the improvement areas that you can do. So we were not especially focusing that there was not non-formal education platforms. We are first focusing what we have.
Yes, what you have.
That's yeah, and that's how we are driving the locally led development. Now these librarians are not just wonderful women with the title of librarians. They are wonderful women who are doing much more for their communities, because even the local administrations are identifying them as capable people. But before that, they didn't know what are their skills or their
Yes, I see. Wow. So it's just really you're looking within and highlighting this additional strengths, as you mentioned, that can lead to even more development initiatives. And then, and I love the example you gave about the librarian. So they're not just librarians; they end up really being facilitators and teachers, and they've now created an environment where people can come in and do so much more than just picking up a book to read.
And I even can bring more other examples. So, for instance, the people whom we were identified, they found out that though living in two other villages, they shared the same ideology for the economic development of the villages, because some of them were already pursuing degrees in tourism. So while the others were wanted to do something, but they didn't have the knowledge.
Yes.
The people who had the knowledge in the tourism, they exchanged it with other village people who didn't have it, and the two groups both created holistic touristic package for the two villages.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so
Yeah, that's impressive.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they shared knowledge. One village has something of value. They've shared it with the second village, and now they're growing the tourism sector in Armenia.
that's right. In the rural settlement where it has like untapped potential for
Yes, yes.
touristic for fostering tourism, and also fostering like economic development there, providing like employment opportunities, and that's what happened. And
Oh, wow.
they not only created the touristic package for the two villages. It was like a holistic. You are started from one village, you are ending up there, and it's all walking tour very wonderfully. And they also experienced that, like they allowed other people to experience that package in real life. So it
Yes,
was
yes. And Armenia Corps, your role was to identify in village A that there's this potential, and you connected them with village B to kind of join forces to expand the tourism package. Did I
yeah,
have that right?
that was in that case. But actually, you're right. That's what we are doing. We are identifying and mobilizing local capacities to create something which starts within, which is empowering this down to top like ideology.
Yes, yes, yes. I
that
love
that's
it.
it. And it's all about localized effort.
Yes.
It's all about localized, like it's a cultural oriented, it's locally oriented. It comes from the people who they saw it and wanted to do so.
And Hayasa, I really want to really stress this point that the data shows that locally led initiatives are sustainable.
Yeah,
Locally led and owned initiatives is what drives resilience within communities and ultimately countries. So the fact that Armenia Corps is providing that enabling environment and doing those connections, I think is absolutely phenomenal. And this model, my goodness, this model should be replicated, I mean, all over the world, because as you're able to do this in Armenia, similar things, similar local capacities can be leveraged and harnessed in other countries. And from what I'm hearing, it's in different sectors. And you talked about healthcare. In this example, you talked about tourism. It's quite impressive,
And
Hayasa, very
thank
impressive.
you so much, Avela. And even I can bring more examples so I can touch to the women empowerment. And
Oh yes, please do. You tugged at my heartstrings, Hayasa.
thank you, Avela. So, what was happening? But before going there, I would like to just cover that now our activities are also multi-level. So when we are doing anything in our all operations are multi-level. It means that we are collaborating with numerous stakeholders at every level, like including local leaders, public institutions, private like partner sectors. So it's everything, like we are not just local population but like a local administrations, everything. So what happens for the women empowerment, and I can bring that very beautiful example so you can to just walk you through all these parameters.
Please do. Thank you.
There were people coming from three villages, and this they identified that these women living in a rural settlement, they are always caring of their families, etc., blah blah, all these things, but they had also free time, and that free time sometimes are going some kind, they want to study something but there isn't any opportunities, and they want to utilize their skills because they have it. After identifying that, these three local women, they designed a program to provide skills to women who can learn how to draw on the scarves, mugs, like bags. So might be one day they will be able to sell it, etc. And the turnout was really very nice because they have already did the survey, they understood that there is a need. And how the implementation happened: so one of the village administrations provided a venue for the workshop. Another village, an artisan from another village came to that village to teach that other women coming from different villages
Yes.
how to draw, like how to get new skills. And another two people coming from the other villages were coordinating the program. It was all voluntarily based, but that's how they were collaborating together. Another example was that one of the women who were the part of Armenia Corps program and who went through this comprehensive development trainings, she created an initiative called Solutions to Important Problems around the coffee table. So
Ah,
this is a specific initiative for the rural women who would like to get some understanding about the reproductive issues, to get understanding like the parenting, to get skills in financial literacy, and how to be secure in the media, online, etc. So it was very wonderful because these women that created this initiative, four women from the four villages were coming to this initiative to gain that understanding. And when we just finished the whole program, that initiative still is going strong till now. And after the second displacement, the forced displacement of the Nagorno-Karabakh people when they came to Armenia.
yeah.
So that initiative was a cornerstone in hosting and supporting the village administration to host the forcibly displaced refugees. So when you are telling when you were telling about the sustainability, like how the local initiatives are also sustainable because they're coming within. So yeah, I totally agree with you, and that's what we are starving to. That's what we are starving for in Armenia, to do something that is sustainable. Meanwhile, it's also like localized, but meanwhile, it's also data driven.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And it's particularly Hayasa, what you guys are doing around women. Thank you for sharing that. So, and it sounds like, it's really people come together. You talked about voluntary development training. People are, offering to host, to be the convener where people can have women can have the training for, teaching women about crafting, and the local artisans are now able to produce small things that hopefully, I'm assuming, could have economic return. So something that started out as training for women, completely voluntary, can end up being an economic driver. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right. And even I can give you the numbers for for that specific programs that we started into between 2022 and 23. So we identified 54 people. These 54 people directly reached 1,500 people, and the general impact of that 1,500 people turned to the almost 4,000 plus people. So can you imagine, 54 people are mobilizing their efforts and they are reaching 1,500 people directly.
Yes, yes, yes.
That was amazing. And if there is a time left, I would like to also mention a specific program that Armenia Corps is launching, because all that experiences that we are building for one main goal. It's for the Knowledge to Action program. So the Knowledge to Action program.
Knowledge to action program. Okay. I'd love to hear more about this.
So it's a forthcoming social program that it's to build all this ideology that I told you about, the principle of addressing systematic challenges by maximizing and utilizing local capacities. So what we are going to do, that we are planning to launch a nationwide program by engaging master's degree students in creating and implementing sustainable solutions for rural settlements. So what happens for this program, the students are going to do their field work in the master degree students, they are going to do field work in the rural areas to get the data on the assets of the villages in their specific student programs related,
Okay.
and then they are going to use that assets data in designing capstone programs which are going to address the strategic development goals of the whole Armenia by
Wow.
utilizing the local data. And if the capstone programs are showing that with capstone programs are going to produce an applicable solutions. So if the solutions are going to show that these issues are not only relevant to one of the village or two villages, but also it happens systematically in different settlements. So the whole data on the capstone program is going to turn to a public policy paper with all the data for the government. Government
Phenomenal.
have this,
Phenomenal.
and if it's only relevant to one or two one or two settlement, it's going to turn as a development program with the whole local data for that villages. So that's what we are looking forward to do it, and that's how we are going to utilize all these small, like all these our experiences that we gradually gathered in these villages.
Hayasa, incredible work. And I love how, with this new initiative, it will lead to policy change, hopefully. If the government is able to now take, a number of these findings and some of the information that you guys are going to, the students, the master students are going to provide, that could lead to serious development across Armenia. And that's really how development happens,
Yeah.
right? Especially because it's data driven. It's happening from the grassroots and going up to the policymakers. Hayasa, I commend you and your incredible team for what you're doing. It's already getting a lot of recognition. In addition to being a Fulbright, Hayasa, you are also named as a 2024 Vital Voice Fellow.
Thank
Congratulations!
you
That's
so
how
much.
we connected. So not only is it are you driving impact in Armenia, but you've been able to really elevate it and get that international recognition. So please continue the incredible work you're doing. I look forward to hearing more about the Knowledge to Action program and all the other initiatives you're doing, particularly with women and how you're empowering them. We can go on and just, I'd love to hear more, but unfortunately we are short on time. How can we help you? How can other people help you and your partners? What is your ask for the international community and so on?
Thank you so much, Avel. First of all, I would like to say thank you. I'm very excited to be here and to talk about our efforts. Just for everyone, Armenia Corps, the whole goal of Armenia Corps is fostering local resilience, but also, meanwhile, is also supporting the global sustainable development. So if anyone would love to support Armenia Corps, there are different avenues. One of them is they can engage with their expertise in different sectors, because Armenia Corps is touching with numerous sectors. It's going through social inclusion of refugees, till the education, public health, economic development, civic activity, etc., women empowerment, youth development, etc. The other thing is if you know any person or any organization who would love to financially support to Armenia Corps to broaden its activities and reach its final goal to the Knowledge to Action program, please feel free to contact us. But actually, we are very open for different collaborations. And thank you so much, Avela. Thank you a lot for this.
So welcome. Thank you for coming on and sharing your incredible work. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to catch up again soon to see how far, what your newest achievements are, and how we can continue to really amplify the work that you're doing. Thanks very
Thank
much,
you a lot.
Hayasa.
Thank you, Avela. Thank you very much.
Armenia's rural communities are brimming with untapped potential, and Hayasa Tahmazyan is spearheading community-driven initiatives to unlock it. Through innovative asset mapping, Armenia Corps focuses on leveraging existing strengths to empower individuals as agents of change within their communities. Local librarians identified and brought together by Armenia Corps have expanded their work beyond offering reading materials. They now run non-formal education platforms that provide financial literacy and media training to their communities. The Solutions to Important Problems Around the Coffee Table initiative also equips women with essential skills in reproductive health, parenting, financial literacy, and online safety, while offering critical support to forcibly displaced refugees. Armenia Corps' efforts extend to connecting villages with shared ideologies to foster collaboration and create tourism opportunities. Armenia also provides rural women with income-generating skills, such as designing scarves and mugs, to create sustainable income streams. By supporting Armenia Corps, you become part of a movement that builds resilience, fosters economic opportunities, and uplifts Armenia's most vulnerable communities.
Thank you for listening. Until next time, stay curious and keep believing in the power of your voice. This is Awele Okibo, signing off for Credo Voices.